St. Louis. It's Drinks with the Band, joined by Eric E.T. Tikoski live from Los Angeles. E.T., great to see you. It's Wednesday. It snowed here in St. Louis, and you're in beautiful Los Angeles. How are you, sir?
Pretty good, pretty good. Yeah, I got a video from my mother in Philly, and it was a blizzard there. So, I don't want to really talk about the weather here today.
Right. It's one of those things. I'm happy to be here. We got Willie Watson on the show tonight. If you're new to the show, here's how this works. ET is the U.S. ambassador for Jack Daniels. He's based in Los Angeles. He's got a million great stories. He has a light, very unnoticeable obsession with with Led Zeppelin and all things music. We talk through some things. We chat. We tell some stories. We mix a cocktail thanks to our friends at Jack Daniels. And then we have our musical guest come on, play about 4 songs, and we chat through. So it's a good time. Make sure you're sharing the stream. If you are, you're entered to win a T-shirt tonight from our guest, Willie Watson. And then we also have a prize from Jack Daniels to give away. We'll tell you how you're going to win that. I've got my guy Ryan in the studio tonight. We've been having Key work with us. A lot of people helping behind the scenes, and I'm very excited to be here, buddy. So let's get into it. We've got drinks to get to. We've got stories. How's Hanukkah treating you in the southern part of California?
So far, so good. So far, so good. I saw my niece and nephew open some gifts via pictures in Zoom, and I think another friend and his kid called, and we got to play the game I play every year. Can I remember the prayer for the candles?
Nah. Got it.
I won't lie. I needed a teleprompter for some of it.
I gotcha. Well, I believe in you, nevertheless, and you believe in me. And you've sent me a little more involved drink tonight. Can you tell me about
Yeah.
that?
Well, it's part 1 of 2 of our Winter Wonderland drinks. This one's called a Snow Angel, and I figured since now you have all the bar tools, why not use them, right? And make the drink.
That's right.
Look at you, right? Twinsies.
Check it out. Very nice, making me look cool. So the Snow Angel. So that's what we're gonna get into. We make a drink. We talk music. How's this work?
Yeah, this one works. Are we doing the drink? You ready to rock and roll?
Let's do
I
it.
feel like you need a cocktail, right? We're
go
so
drink
close to
first.
the holiday season. I mean, we're
Yes.
in the holiday season. What are we talking about?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So for this one, let's go with the not whiskey first, just in case. Look at that. Gorgeous, gorgeous. So you see on there a thing called Angel Tears. So before we get to that, there's citrus in this drink. There's fresh lime juice. So a lot of times when using citrus, you'll see salt in the mix. And salt has like I didn't do so well in science, but there's some type of science that happens when you add salt to citrus. Think about a margarita with a salt rim, right? So it kind of balances some of that citrus flavor and brings it up to a unique, different level. You almost get a sweet note with the citrus. So we're going to add something called Angel Tears. Dirty Sue is an olive juice. Olive juice has a lot of salinity. So if you dilute it with a little bit of water, we'll just have, we're going to put a little couple drops of Angel Tears in this cocktail. So we can even start right out with 5 drops of Angel Tears. We go right into that tin.
Okay.
Easy breezy.
We're just jumping right in tonight. Drinks with the band.
Yeah, why not?
Okay, gotcha.
I felt like you looked thirsty, so let's get this drink going. You know what I mean?
I am, man. Yes, it's snowing here. I worked all day. I'm thinking, I'm going to reward myself and hang out with ET at the same time.
You deserve it. Okay. So we're going to do 1 ounce each of fresh lime juice and simple syrup.
Great.
Now you have your fancy, I don't know if you, sometimes you like to what are you doing there? I feel like you didn't do something.
No, it's definitely not fresh. Oh, gotcha. Okay, so we got the lime juice.
Oh, look at you. All right, yeah. So over here in Los Angeles, we're going to have some fresh squeezed lime juice.
Yeah, you probably walked out your front door, didn't you?
I had to go to my neighbor's house to get this across the street.
Poor guy.
And now anytime you use citrus, I know we did the Angel Tears, but you also want to balance it with some sweet. So we're going to take 1 ounce of simple syrup.
This is riveting. We're off to a good start.
Yeah. Now, if you're making it at home, simple syrup is simple. It's just equal parts sugar and water. So traditional simple syrup, if you're going to make enough for the week, maybe a cup of sugar and a cup of water, I would use, a good cane sugar. And if you're going to buy it, which is totally fine too, just make sure that the ingredients are sugar and water and there's no high fructose corn syrup and stuff like that. And now for some fun, we're going to add a 1/4 ounce of Aperol. Most people, if you hadn't heard of Aperol, you probably heard of Campari, which is an Italian aperitif, and Aperol is like the sweeter, brighter, a little bit more citrusy version. Same company. Look at you measuring. So proud.
I got written up last week, and I've made a I've made a pledge to be the best 1 time a week bartender I can be.
I love it. Now we're gonna go with 2 ounces of Old Number 7.
Okay. Now this
Classic Jack Daniels.
This is where I do stray a little bit.
It's all right. You do you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Ryan, would you go to call 1 for me, please? Mm-hmm.
You got your fancy bar cam.
All right. No, I was gonna try and zoom in on you. Oh, that's what I'm.
There we go. Look at that.
Yeah.
So now we're gonna shake the drink. Put some ice in there. Close her up. And shaking's great to get it cold, but it also dilutes and gives a little bit of water, which is an ingredient in cocktails. So we're just gonna give it a little bit of a shake. Beautiful.
Could you tell by the sound it wasn't the purest of shakes?
I have a pre-chilled cocktail glass. I'm going to get rid of the ice and water.
Got it.
And then we're just going to strain that right into our cocktail glass. I'm going to double strain.
Oh, lost him for just a second. Lost you.
There
Sorry about that, buddy. You're double straining.
Yeah, that gets out any ice chunks or any citrus. So it's a nice, clean version.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. And now, because we have the Aperol, I'm going to do a grapefruit peel. So we're just going to, you always want the outside of the fruit facing the drink when you twist it so the oils go into the drink and you get that nice aroma.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll just little cuts in there, and then boom, we have a nice little garnish. And we have a snow angel.
A snow angel. That's my favorite.
Yeah.
Do you miss winters?
I miss like a week of winter. Like when my mom sent me that video today, I'm like, that'd be nice to be there and watch the snow under a blanket and, chill. I talk about my mom a lot.
She's the best.
I love her. She is the best. Give a Hey Jude out to Philly. But as a kid, during if I was making a real life snow angel, and of course I never really tied my boots right or got my, something always fell apart. So you got snow all over. You'd come in freezing, and after you got out of your wet clothes, Judy was the type of mom that would have a blanket rolling around in the dryer. So when you got on the sofa, she would encapsulate you in this little heat pod of warm blanket.
She actually looked out for you.
Yeah.
And that's why you call her out on the show.
It is. She deserves it.
If I lose a finger live on this, our views will go up so much, but I will be so upset.
Yeah. That would. I don't know if it's worth a finger. That's nice. I like your technique.
Yeah, that's called move along.
Cheers. Now, if this is a real bar and it took us that long to make one drink, we'd be closed.
Well, it is delicious. Nice work. I'm happy to have it. Nice. We've got Willie Watson jumping on tonight. Have you ever seen Ballad of Buster Scruggs?
I'm sorry, what?
Ballad of Buster Scruggs. It's a Coen Brothers project on Netflix. He's in that.
Oh, is he? His music or him himself?
He acts and he's got a song in it. He plays a big part in the movie, so I'm excited to talk to him about that. Oh, look at that! Wow. Yeah. And then also he was a founding member of Old Crow Medicine Show, which it's kind of crazy to think however long ago it was when they really kind of took off. They kind of kickstarted this new folk movement, I would say, with everybody kind of getting popular and moving things forward. So either way, excited to talk to Willie. We do have prizes to give away. We're going to give away a Willie Watson t-shirt, and then we're also going to give away a Jack Daniels prize pack. I do have a question, and it revolves around the prizes.
Yes.
I think we should give away. Let people know. Let us know in the comments if you're hitting share. You're entered to win the Willie Watson T-shirt, and then if you let us know in the comments the last great concert you went to before this lockdown stuff started, you're entered to win the Jack Daniels prize pack. Et, what's the last great concert you went to?
Good one. Last great concert, I would say it has to be Desert Trip. It's a couple years ago, but kind of an epic 3-day show. I think the first night was Bob Dylan and the Stones. Second night was Neil Young and Paul McCartney, and the third night was the Who and Roger Waters.
Oh,
So yeah, it's just a little show. And what's crazy is it was so expensive, and I had seen every artist on the bill, so I was like, should we go? Should we not go? It was in Palm Springs or Coachella, and I didn't get tickets. And then after it was 2 weekends, the first weekend ended, and a buddy of mine went. He's like, "It's the greatest thing ever. It's the most amazing this, that." And somehow we got tickets that were like a quarter of the price of what I was going to pay. So my wife and I went out, we rented a house, and we went, and the house is like a mile from the fairgrounds. So we brought our like beach cruisers, and it's Palm Springs, it's a desert, so it's flat, and we just ride to the show. So like most outdoor giant concerts, there's little sections, and the way they did it, you had to show your laminate or your whatever to get to your section. That way people wouldn't crowd in the wrong areas, and it was just a very adult experience. So we get there, and we're in the 2 aisle seats, and we weren't in the best section, but we were at the front of our section, so it was the best version of where we were.
right.
And we get there, we're hanging out, whatever song's playing, and there's this girl dancing near my wife, like digging the music. And when we go to sit down, she tries to like squeeze onto my wife's seat, and my wife's like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "I was here first. Share, move over." And I was like, "What do you mean you were there first?" And she was like, "I was already here." I'm like, "Yeah, but these are our seats. Like, it's not like a bench where you're squeezing on. It's like, seat A1 and A2." It's like, ugh, and like walks away. So,
Like, ma'am, I'm a sane person. Like, I don't know.
yeah,
I don't know
yeah, like
what you're trying to do.
look, it's a vibe. You're out there. It's great. You don't want to like get upset about anything, but she takes off. The second night was great, and then the third night, we got there like one song into the Who, and not only is she in my wife's seat, but her, I don't know, boyfriend, friend, whatever, was in my seat, and they have all their stuff on our chairs, like their beers, their wine, her lipstick, her purse. I was like, oh my God, like I really don't feel like dealing with this. So, I'm like, look, you got to go. And the guy was like, "See, I told you these are someone's seats." And she goes, "I just want to sit closer." And he's like, "Let's just go back to our seats." And they have to be in our section because they have to show their ticket.
Right.
So they leave, and he goes back to the seat. She finds like a onesie that she just went and stole from someone that didn't show up. And in between the Who and Roger Waters, there's like a 40-minute break. And my wife had some friends. I had some friends from college that were there. So we met to grab a drink, and we're talking, and we run into this other guy that we went to college with. He's a little bit older than us, but we knew him and had no idea he flew in from New York for this show. So we're hanging out. It's like, what a small world, crazy, great to see you. And his name's Gerard. And all of a sudden I hear, mind you, there's almost 100,000 people here. I hear someone yelling, "Gerard, Gerard." And it's like, oh my God. I don't know her name, and I wouldn't say it for real if it was, but let's say, "Oh my God, Stacy." And, he goes over to hug her. I turn around. It's the girl that stole our seats. There's almost 100,000 people. So he brings her over. It was me and this guy, Jeff Carlitz. And he's like, "E.T., Jeff, this is my good friend, whatever, Stacy." And I'm like, "Yeah, we met." She just kind of like, I just couldn't let it go. I should have. The bigger move would have been, "Nice to meet you." But I was like, "Oh, yeah, we met." And he just was confused. And she looked like, oh my God, out of all the friggin' people at this show, this has to be his friend.
That karma part of life, or in those moments, is like what I live for. That's so amazing that happens.
Yeah.
So E.T. told that's the best. That's an insane show, by the way. And if you guys haven't been to Palm Springs, I don't know if it's just because there are so many good times attached or whatever, and then you can go to the what's the mountain you go up in the tram on the way down there? What's that
Oh yeah,
called?
yeah, yeah. I don't know what that's called,
That's
but
last
mountain
time I went
tram.
down there. Yeah, you go up on a mountain tram and you have a damn good time. But no, highly recommended, and especially if you're going to go see a show like that there. Holy
Yeah, it was
cow.
crazy. And so a buddy of mine, I used to bartend with. I guess what is it, Live Nation that did that show? Anyway, whoever it was, he runs their merch or part of it. Like he's in the tents with all the shirts and whatever you want to buy from all these bands. And when we got back to LA, he's a nice guy and he got me one of the Desert Trip posters. Like, you know, so it's cool. We're like, oh, thank you so much. And my wife and I hadn't put it up yet, but it's a cool poster. And I don't know, 3 days later, I'm walking through a neighborhood. I'm walking my dogs, and I come across this dog in the street with a collar, but no one walking it. And luckily, it was a really sweet dog, so I pick it up, and there was a number on the collar. Call the number. The guy whose dog it was lives like 4 houses up uh, away from us. Never met him, and I'm like, oh my god, dude, I think I have your dog. He's like, what does it look like? I tell him, he's like, yeah, yeah. Plus, it was his whatever the chain of the number, but
Yeah.
um, so like, oh my god, thank you so much. I'm like, where are you? He's like, tells me, oh, I'm like, right by your house. So I go to his house. He is the artist that did the poster. So he's like, how can I
Is he
ever thank
famous?
you? I'm
Is
like,
he a famous dude?
yeah, his name's Kai Aarons. He's done like a bazillion album covers. He's done some of Dolly Parton's album covers. And when John Williams, the composer, played the Hollywood Bowl a couple years ago, he did the poster for that. And because he did the Jaws theme, he made the Hollywood Bowl look like the mouth of Jaws and did the Jaws colors, but it was a Hollywood Bowl. Super
That's
cool.
amazing.
He's a
That's
very
awesome.
creative guy. So it's like, how can I ever repay you? I'm like, I'll be right back. I'm like, can you sign this?
That's perfect. Man,
Yeah.
I like that. I love those kind of stories, man. I'm trying to think of it's not going to beat yours. The last concert. I think I brought this up like a week or two ago. I want to say the last do you know who Raphael Sadiq is? That's who I
Yeah,
went.
yeah, yeah.
I went and saw him at the pageant. That was like the last one. And then I maybe future guest Ben Nichols, who's going to be on in 2021 for the show. I went and saw Lucero at Off Broadway, which I'm sure our guest Willie has played many times. So let us know in the comments. Last concert you went to, great concert, and we'll read a few too once we get Willie on, and we'll have some influential discussion about that. You want to meet our guest?
Yeah, man, love to. I listen to him all day, so I would love to meet him.
Man, I love that. I love you get to meet these new to you bands, and you dive in because it's tough. There's so much good music, and it's so accessible that
Yeah.
you fall into your same playlist all the time. I'm guilty of
No,
it, but
that's honestly, besides you, the best part of the show is the seeing, because a couple of the guests I've known one or two songs because
yeah,
stuff just comes up. Hey, if you like this, you might like this. But then when you do a deep dive into their library, you're like, wow, this, and then that's what's so cool. Technology. We just watched that movie, Social, the Social.
Social Dilemma.
Yes. So as scary as all that stuff is, Spotify for me or any of those streaming services, not only do you like find new stuff, but it's so easy to just drag it into your playlist so you don't forget. If I'm like walking my dogs, I'm trying to remember who this is. Just drag it over, and then you remind yourself a couple weeks later, like, oh yeah, that guy, that girl.
Goddamn. No, it's perfect. We'll go ahead and bring on our guest. Let's see here. We've got him queued up. Brian, if you want to bring him in, please do. That's Willie Watson. Oh, we lost him.
What?
It tricked everybody. Willie live in Los Angeles. What's up, Willie? How are you?
I'm doing good, guys. How are you doing?
Doing really
Very
well,
well.
man. We're excited to have you on. Came recommended by the great booker extraordinaire Katie Tupin. So that's
Cool.
a check in the good department from our book. Willie, we were just discussing this, and we put it up to the people tuning in at home. Last concert you saw, or great concert you saw, E.T. went to just a rockin' one in Southern California, apparently, and just destroyed us all. I saw Raphael Sadiq and Lucero in probably like the same week, which I don't know that many people go to those two shows ever. Uh, what about you? What's the last big show or show you saw? You were probably on the road, I'm sure, but what was the last great show you played or saw?
The last show that I went to that I wasn't involved with whatsoever, I think it was just a local show in LA, at the Bootleg Theater, and it was probably a band called My Bubba, and they're a duo, two gals. One is from Iceland and one from Sweden, and they're just one of my favorite things ever. Uh, you know, folky, you would call them folky, um, but just like nothing you've heard before. Folky, but again, their very own thing. I think that was probably the last show and one of the best shows. And I ended up touring with them a little bit after that. We went to Australia together and did a bunch of shows. The last huge show, the last big show, would have been Sia at the Hollywood Bowl.
Oh, very nice. Did your neighbor make that poster, E.T.?
I don't know. Don't know. I can't confirm or deny that. But yeah, let me ask you a question because I listened to you all day today. How long have you been playing guitar?
Since I was like uh, 12, 12 or 13, and I am now 41 years old, so a long time.
All right, that makes me feel better because you're really good. And not only are you good at playing guitar, but your style is really interesting. Um, like I love music and I love musicians and especially guitar. And not everyone always. It's hard to find your own sound with an instrument with 6 strings that everyone plays. So when I listened to you today, I was like, wow, you do some really cool stuff, like picking and strumming different styles. And I don't know, man, it was it's cool. And you also have a very unique sound, which I think is also hard to come by these days. I feel like every 5 or 10 years, everyone in a certain genre sounds like the same person, and then you come along and you sound completely different from people in your own wheelhouse. So good for you, man.
Yeah,
Good
I
stuff.
think that I think thanks. I mean, I think my voice is definitely unique to me, and it wasn't anything I ever intended on. It's just sort of how it came out. Um, Now, I did some recording with the Fairfield Four. They recorded a few songs on my last solo record, and did some rehearsals. And they liked my singing too. But they said the thing that they liked about my voice is when you hear it, when you hear that voice, it's Willie Watson. Um, and I think it's like you hear Willie Nelson, that's Willie Nelson. You hear Bob Dylan. So for those guys to put me in that group, I mean, I'm not as good as any of those people, but it's cool to know. But I try not to think about myself that much, even though I do.
I always wonder that. So you didn't sit there for days and days and like sing the same song with different pitches and be like, oh, that's my sound. I'm gonna go with that.
No, it evolved over time.
Cool.
Like when Old Crow first started, um, like okay, so even further back, like when I first started singing, the first songs I ever learned on guitar and to sing as a complete song, were Neil Young songs, and so I was a kid. I was at this point I was probably 15, and I discovered that I could sing high like Neil Young, and so it was all just imitation, and it's just like I'm going to try to sound as much like Neil Young on this record as I can, and then of course over time other influences came in and they all kind of end up mixing and blending together, and then fast forward to when Old Crow Medicine Show started, like we were listening to old men playing fiddles and banjos, in the recording. We were listening to like field recordings, on Folkways, on the Folkways label and all this old music. And so like I mean, for a little while I sang like an 80-year-old man, like kind of on purpose.
Right.
And they could listen to like Ralph Stanley and that stuff just sinks in, and it's sort of what ends up organically happening. And that's the way I've always done it. I suppose I've just let all those influences sink in. But really, the thing that I feel is very important about a singer is that it's truthful, and that when you're listening to it, you believe what you're hearing, and it doesn't sound put on, and it needs to sound natural, you know, effortless in a sense. But really, just the honesty in a voice is the most important thing you could ever hope to achieve as a singer.
Well said, and that's what we're all
Yeah,
about
man.
here
Good
here
stuff.
on the
Yeah,
show. Yeah.
Yeah.
it's I think you nailed it. So I'm happy to have kind of do a deep dive on your stuff today. So now there's a lot of stuff I pushed over to my playlist. So thank you for that.
Keep it moving,
Cool.
people. Yeah, and Willie does have a new single out. We'll tell you more about that. We're
Oh
talking
yeah.
about this great voice of yours. I think there's quite a few people in the comments that are waiting to hear it.
Ready
We'll
to hear
say,
it?
we'll say bye
Oh,
to
are there
ET.
comments?
Oh yeah, we'll get in on that. We can read
Oh, I
some.
can't see them on my thing, can I?
You can pull it up on Facebook or something. Willie Watson, I saw you in a high school auditorium in Cascade, Iowa, amongst many other places. That's from Emily. Shout out to Emily. Willie, my man, got to get close to your mic from Ben.
Oh,
It's
really?
I think I can hear you okay.
Okay.
Can't hear Will. Oh, we were having some audio. Okay. So Ryan, we'll keep an eye on his audio. I'm hearing him well over here, so we'll keep that going. Maybe when we jump into a song, we'll get to show that off. Look at this. We got last good concert was Almond Betts band. Shout out to producer Nate, who would have been there. Mud Crutch was a show. All
Wow.
kinds of people excited, man. Yeah, we'll get to some more of those. Willie, I think I'm hearing him okay. Ryan, how about you? Willie, why don't you say hi to the people?
Hi, people. Maybe it was just that I was kind of talking like up here, and the microphone is sort of down here.
I think that's what it is, yeah.
Okay, and when I sing, I'll be back here and singing loud. So
For sure.
when I
Well,
talk, I'll get right on the mic there.
is that better? Let us know in the comments. We'll keep an eye out for you all. Thank you for those comments and keep rocking and rolling. Guys, let's hear our first song. Willie, you down?
Sure.
Okay, we'll get this
All right,
going.
man. Take care,
ET,
Willie. Happy holidays, man.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
see you,
Good to meet
ET. He'll be back next
All right,
week
cool.
for the holiday special, and
Sounds good.
let's do this. Okay, Willie, take it away, my friend.
All right, I'll sing you one that is on my second solo records, Folk Singer Volume 2. And, I hadn't done this song for a long time, and I sort of just sang it at home the other night, and I was really feeling it, so I figured it'd be a good one to start with. When my baby left me, she never said a word. My baby left me, never said a word. My baby left me, she never said a word. Why, nothing she'd seen, it was something that she heard. She caught the rumbling and I caught the falling down. She caught the rumbling, I caught the falling down. She caught the rumbling, I caught the falling down. I never seen her, I never turned around. Babe, I never thought he could treat me this way. I never thought he'd treat me this way. I never thought he'd treat me this way. I'm going back home and I'm going to stay. The troubles I've been having and don't nobody know. Troubles I'm having, don't nobody know. Troubles I'm having and don't nobody know. Goodbye, bye, baby, I'd hate to see you go. Bye, bye, baby, I'd hate to see you go. Baby, I'd hate to see you go.
Willie Watson, everybody. Let's rock and roll, man. That was fantastic. And there's the T-shirt that we'll see. We'll pop that up. So you guys can win a T-shirt of Willie's if you hit share on this. And there's the T-shirt. What a kick-ass shirt.
Oh,
you
cool. It's that Stew Ball T-shirt.
Who made that for you? Is it?
I believe Daniel Sheridan. I believe
Sure.
made that shirt. I'm pretty sure he was a fan, and I saw some of his designs on Instagram. He's like a graphic designer.
Sure.
And well, he's made a few T-shirts for us actually.
That's awesome. Well, Willie, I appreciate you jumping on here tonight. We get so many opportunities to talk to people that have done just huge things, and it's amazing to connect with the fans that you have, and then also kind of walk through the story that's your life so far. I'm curious, man. You had the appearance in Ballad of Buster Scruggs. I was just nosing around on the internet. You have another acting gig coming up, at least that's listed on IMDb. For somebody that has accomplished the things that you have in music and you continue to accomplish, how much do you want to get into acting moving forward? I mean, you work with the best right out of the gate. I mean, you've got a few credits, and maybe there's way more that I don't know about, but to be in something that the Coen brothers put together on a platform like Netflix in today's day and age, in such a perfect spot for you, it felt like you got to do everything you were good at, man. You did a great job, number one, but number two,
Thanks.
is it just nice to have options?
Well, okay. First of all, I'm not even really an actor. I never set out to like be in a movie.
Right.
The Coen brothers were fans. We became pals. We became buddies because of some mutual friends. Gillian Welch and Dave Rawlings. They're friends with those guys, and they have been ever since they did the "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou" thing.
Of course.
And so then I was a part of the companion concert that went along with the movie Inside Llewyn Davis.
Mm-hmm.
And so from there, met the Coen brothers, met Ethan and Joel, and from there kind of became pals. And they liked my music, and they just thought that I would be good in this movie. And they said, "Do you want to do this part?" And it's a musical part and an acting thing. And I was like, I don't think this is going to be a good idea. I don't know how to do this,
Yeah, this is the big
and I
stage.
was real hesitant. Yeah, and they said, no, we think you'll be good. And I was like, okay, if you guys think I'll be good, then I should maybe trust the Coen brothers,
Right.
It's
right,
like,
right.
that's the thing you watch. Like, one of the things I love, one of the little things that I love about their films is like just the characters that they in like the scene in
No Country for Old Men.
No Country for Old Men, where the trailer park secretary lady with
Yes.
the beehive hairdo.
Yes.
It's like, where did they find this person? And so I just kind of thought of her and how perfect she was, and I was like, well, if they're able to find those people and cast those people in their movies, then they must see a similar thing in me,
Why
I
not?
decided
you?
I would do it. And I was real nervous about it. And, I didn't know how it turned out, man, And I knew, like, when we were filming that stuff, I was thinking about what's my face doing during like for the lines and like trying to get the horse to go in a straight line and it wouldn't go in a straight line, you know, and all I'm thinking about is this crew, the lighting guys and the grips and all these guys that are just thinking, who is this guy
Right.
wasting our time today?
Yeah.
And I don't know, I just kind of did the best I could. And we did a bunch of takes of my talking scenes and they said, we got it. And so I thought, all right, they probably got it. And then the next day we did the singing part where I'm walking and singing and I was able to get my head around that.
Right.
It was just made sense to me. I knew what to do. It came naturally to me. I knew how to walk down that street. I knew what kind of stride to take, and just what to do with my face. I was comfortable with it, and it made sense to me as far as being like a musical thing.
That's incredible.
And then when it came out, I watched the movie, and I was like, man, I was surprised. I looked cool.
Yes.
I was like, I did not think I looked that cool. Not at all.
No,
the last thing I thought I looked was cool.
You nailed it. The facial hair was spot on, and it was such a fun story. So again, just great work for you. Do you feel like you're going to do some more? Is that going to be something that you regularly dip your toe in?
Sure. I would do some more. I don't, I've toyed with the idea of like maybe pursuing it a little bit more. But then again, I'm just like, I don't know. Like, that's not what am I going to really do that? Like, what am I going to get an agent and like have the agent?
I think I could be your agent with that credit.
Yeah, I guess so. But then you end up doing like, what do you end up doing when you have an agent? Like commercials and like sitcoms? I would do a sitcom. Sure, man. That'd be fun.
Yeah, why not?
It's like steady work. So
yeah.
I still don't know what I'm doing. And like you said, I did film another movie right before the lockdown happened. I was in South Africa filming a movie called Redeeming Love, directed by DJ Caruso. And it's based on a novel by Francine Rivers, and it's like a romance novel, and set in the 1800s in the California gold rush era. And so again, it's actually like I'm in more scenes. It's not just like 5 minutes in a 15-minute short. It's it's a lengthier sort of role. But again, I was super nervous and didn't know what I was doing. But the director keeps saying cut. And so I'm like, if the director says cut, then we got it. But yeah, man, I'd do it. I've never auditioned for anything. And so, they just call me. These directors, they call me and they're like, you want to be in a movie? I'm like, why not?
You got any actors tuned in. They just threw a glass through their door.
Oh my God. And I live in LA too. And I got to be careful where I'm boasting about the fact that I've never done an audition.
It's incredible. You'll go to Los Angeles, and this is comedy, music, acting, whatever. The person who literally was top 3 in stand-up comedy for money earned like 2 years ago, or a year ago, Sebastian Maniscalco. I always screw it up. He was waiting tables at the Ritz like 2 years ago. Because it was consistent, even though he was a tenured stand-up comic, and now he's literally pulling in millions. Second to like Seinfeld or Chappelle or something. But it's crazy the amount of talent in LA. So that's such a good point. But I'm glad you have those options, and you nailed it, man. It's got to be a good feeling, a unique feeling too, because you do have a lot of wins in music as well. And we've got I brought it up a bit ago. Another thing that's happening in your life, the new single I saw has been released, man. How was that process? And I promise people tuned in. We'll get to another song in just a minute. I'll show you guys a little picture of that single in just a second. But I guess tell us about the process of releasing in a time like this, and kind of what you plan to do with the new music. I don't know if you are going to tour as soon as you can, or where are you at in that process?
Well, sure. I'll tour. I'll definitely tour as soon as I can, which I don't think is going to be for a while. But yeah, that was kind of early on in the lockdown. It was just something that I was singing at home. At the time, I was doing like a lot of musicians, I think, were getting on like Instagram Live and just singing songs,
right,
making videos of songs. And I was doing a lot of that, and I had done one of this song. I listen to all. I do, and I don't just sit here and listen to to old men with fiddles and banjos all day. My musical,
Sure.
taste and preferences. What's the right word? I listen to other kinds of music, and there's this Swedish pop singer named Robin, and
Sure.
I had been listening to her a couple of years ago, actually. Never in my life, my uh, I became more open to like what was maybe on the radio and just what pop music was maybe about 5 years ago. And I have a daughter, she's 10 now, but at the time she was like 5 and 6, we're like listening to pop radio. And so, uh, I used to be very opinionated about it. And the last time I had checked in with anything that was going on in the mainstream world was like in the late 90s or early 2000s, when it was like Destiny's Child and
Right.
TLC. And I didn't think any of that was good at all.
Yeah.
And also, I was in my 20s and I was very opinionated. It might be good, but I wasn't into Britney Spears, that kind of pop scene. But I tuned in a little bit, 5 or 6 years ago, and I think 1989 was pretty fresh, and there was some other stuff going on, and the and then for a few years after that, there's a few like landmark sort of songs that really stuck out to me that I thought were just good music all around. All the Stars, that Kendrick Lamar thing, and Kendrick Lamar in general. Um, like he's like the best.
For sure.
It's like,
Yeah.
I mean,
It,
um, so I don't know. I just became more open to it, and was starting listening to like Swedish dance music. Why not? So, um, look, if there's a song, no matter what it's made of, no matter if the bare bones of the song are really good, you can a lot of the time translate that to sort of any format, and you can change the tempo around, you can change the feel, you can change the tension or the volume, and transform that song in its basic form into anything else. Um, so that's just sort of what I did with that, and I put it on Instagram, and then I made a little home recording of it on my phone, and then I sort of asked some friends, like, "Is this lame?" And the three people that I asked if it was lame, they're like, "Not at all. This is
yeah.
really cool." And I was like, "Okay," because I'm thinking about, because I thought it was kind of cool, but I wanted like a second and third opinion, and just decided like, I should maybe put that thing out, and it might be really, might do good. Not that I'm like, when I put something, I'm not trying to like sell a million records or anything. It's like, there's a song, here's some music that I just made. It's not gonna, and that's the thing, like that's not gonna fit on my next record. I'm not gonna make Folk Singer Volume 3 and plop Dancing on My Own right in the middle of it.
Right.
And I just thought it would be a good thing. It fit with the time. It fit with the dance, being alone, dancing on my own. And the song might be about like being in the club or whatever, but it kind of reminded me of just dancing around the house kind of thing.
No,
So
freedom. That's a good feeling, man. For sure.
yeah, I just felt like it really sort of worked with everything that was going on.
Do you care to share who you go to for musical opinions on that? Who do those texts go to?
Oh, well, that one was LT, Laura Taylor, who works at my record label, uh, and management as well. So she's like, my
It's an
sort of
important person.
go-to.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I asked LT what she thought. She loved it, and she's a big fan of Robin too. So she just was over the moon. Just a close friend of mine here in LA, um, uh, and I didn't send it to my producer, to Dave, until after I'd gotten both of their opinions. But I'd sent it to Dave last.
Right. Okay.
I was
like
most
that.
afraid of I was most afraid of what Dave would think.
Right, the harshness of the producer's mind. No, that makes perfect sense, man. If you all are tuned in, I just want to remind everybody: comment, let us know the last great concert you went to. You're entered to win a Jack Daniels prize pack. Big thanks to them, and then a couple quick thank yous to the Kranzberg Arts Foundation for helping always support this. Our friends at Snappy Bigman Coffee. Don't always have to have Jack Daniels, guys. Get in on the coffee too. Snappy Bigman's local here in St. Louis, and our friends at St. Louis Counseling Services. They've got a great podcast called Mental Health Matters as well. So, and then also, if you hit share, you're entered to win that kick-ass T-shirt you saw from Willie's merch store. I'd love to hear another song, man, if you got it in you.
Sure. Can
Yeah.
everybody hear me okay now? Or is the audio
I think so.
squared away?
I think we're good. Ryan was saying maybe just juice the gain a little bit, not a
Okay.
ton, but no, everybody, we got that worked out. So a little behind the
Okay.
scenes, the mic he's using is a directional mic. So if he's backed away and we're having this conversation, it's not going to pick his voice up quite as much, but it's perfect for the way Willie sings and the volumes on that. So I think we're back and we're good, dude.
Okay. Cool.
All right, take it
Well,
away.
I would maybe sing "Dancing on My Own," but the first song I did was kind of like sort of down and softer, so I don't want to be too much of a bummer out there for everybody. So the T-shirt, the Stew Ball T-shirt, made me think I should maybe just sing Stew Ball, and it seems to be everybody's favorite. So if you're at home alone, if you're at home there and you want to sing along, you just sing like that after I sing a verse. But you know, no one's gonna hear you, so you just sing whatever you want. Way out in California, where Stew Ball was born, all the jockeys in the country said he blowed there in a storm. So you bet on Stew Ball, and you might win, bet on Stew Ball, and you might win. It was a big day in Dallas, don't you wish you was there? You could bet your last dollar on that iron gray mare. So you bet on Stew Ball, and you might win, bet on Stew Ball, and you might win. When the horses was saddled and the word was give on run, old Stew Ball was trembling like a criminal to be hung. Now you bet on Stew Ball, and you might win, bet on Stew Ball, and you might win. Lord, you bet on Stew Ball, and you might win, bet on Stew Ball, and you might win. Well, Stew Ball was a racehorse, and old Molly was too. But old Stew Ball run on Molly right out of her shoe. So you bet on Stew Ball, and you might win, bet on Stew Ball, and you might win. When the horse was saddled and the word was give on the go, he shot off like a racehorse, like an arrow from a bow. Now you bet on Stew Ball, and you might win, bet on Stew Ball, and you might win. Well, the old folks, they was hollering, and the young folks did bawl, and the children said, look, love, at that noble Stew Ball. Now you bet on Stew Ball, and you might win, bet on Stew Ball, and you might win. Lord, you bet on Stew Ball, and you might win, bet on Stew Ball, and you might win.
The man knows how to please a crowd. People losing it in the comments. Everybody very happy to hear old Stew Ball.
All right.
Great work, man. You sounded wonderful. Shout out to we got a bunch of people commenting. Saw something from Zuzu. Always love hearing from Zuzu. If you're just tuning in, guys, we do drinks with the band each and every week. Tonight it's Willie Watson. Next week we're gonna have some fun with our holiday special, bringing back some greats. Willie, tell me what you think about this lineup we've got for next week. So, the great Katie Tupin, she's gonna join. We're gonna do one holiday song each. I got Katie Tupin. Got our guy Womack from Future Birds. He's one of the singers in Future Birds. We got Hayes Carl joining. He's coming back. And then our friend Ron Gallo and his wife Kiara. So we're going to have 4 different people, monsters of the genre, jumping in, playing some songs. We're going to have some fun. Does that sound like a decent lineup?
That sounds fantastic, and it's going to be a full night, and so you get a lot of variety going on there.
Yeah.
The only one of those people I know personally is Katie Tupin, and she's a really, really dear friend, and I've known her through the years, and we've just sort of been true friends to each other in the true sense of the word, and she means a lot to me. So that's
Same
really
here.
cool.
It
Yeah.
definitely is, and those other dudes are all great too. They're all very talented, and I'm curious too. Now that you mentioned that, in the world of music and entertainment, do you run across many people like that? Is it more good than bad? Like, you do hear some crazy management stories, some road stories. It's a hard. I I I say this. I don't want people to roll their eyes because people get to do what they love, but you're physically out traveling around and grinding it out every night at late nights and giving your creative all and everything and your physical all. I guess give me some insight in your experience in the biz, man.
Well, I can only speak from my own experience,
Sure.
and I'm not. It's not my place to necessarily criticize or judge others. But I can tell you, like when I was younger and in my 20s, and like you said, out there, I was working and touring real hard by the time I was, in my early to mid 20s.
Right.
Um, and that age, you still like when I wasn't grown up when I
No.
was 25.
No. We're
Not at
monsters.
all.
We're
I was still a kid,
sure.
and to get that much attention and to, you start, you got the sense that is this sense of importance, and then all the next things you do musically and creatively have to be very important as well. And everything's so severe,
Yeah.
and you know, with no experience in the music business yet, when you're thrown into something like that, you have this idea, or you've been told, or you assume that there's going to be people out there waiting on you hand and foot, and that when you arrive, anything you ask for, you're going to receive, and it's just not like that. It's like that on a movie set.
Right.
They'll do anything for you on a movie set. They treat you like this really, really special person when you're on
Now,
a movie set. But when you're
let's
25, go ahead.
I was gonna say the movie set that you were on is like
Okay,
that.
right, right.
It's like, they have their version of playing to 3 people too. Like
Yeah,
there's
exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, when you're 25 and you're um, playing the orange peel or something, it's the only venue I could think of right now. Sorry.
Yeah, we'll just say you probably played like I don't even want to say Mississippi Nights for you back in the day. That was probably a really
Yeah,
fun show if
totally.
you ever did that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, at
But-
that
but-
time too.
Yeah,
But-
that was a great venue. But either way, we get it. The small hole in the walls that you may or may not get paid when you leave.
Yeah, and even bigger, even larger venues. But I don't know, it can create a certain attitude, and I definitely had that attitude when I was that age. And I'm older now, and I'm a lot more humble. And also in my experience, here I was in this band that by the time, with Old Crow, by the time of by the end of my run with them,
Mhm.
we weren't playing to necessarily 5,000 people a night. That I think came a few years after I was gone, but it was like 2,000 to 2,500, and it would play festivals and there'd be tens of thousands of people there.
Right.
But we were playing bigger shows, and then a year later I'm solo, and I'm playing at Eddie's Attic outside of Atlanta for like 50 people.
Right.
And so, it took me a minute to come around, but after a while, I became very, very grateful that those 50 people would come and see me play. And some nights it's still 50 people, and some nights it's 300.
Right.
You know, but it it helped me realize that I almost prefer it in a way to just play to a couple hundred people, that I can have a connection with and I can feel comfortable in standing in front of. And like I said, just being open and honest on that stage. It's just me. So at first it was terrifying, but it's important to me to just have a truthful and honest and real interaction with the audiences, and to be able to talk to them. And if they want to talk back, depending on what they say, that's great. And it's more of an honest and real connection that I can make with people. And I've learned that that's what it's about half the time. Not saying that it's not about me and me getting attention and me being on the stage and being the center of attention.
Yeah.
I do love that, and I'm not going to deny that. And
Right.
I'm the
Sorry
youngest.
we couldn't accommodate
Yeah,
just the solo camera on you the entire time, as you requested pre-show, but maybe next
Right.
time. Okay, so yeah, go ahead. Yep, there we go. Let him
Yeah.
get his fix.
There we go.
No, you were saying you're the youngest.
Yeah, I'm the youngest of. I have two older brothers, and so I got all the attention when I was a kid. That just really stuck with me.
Well, it's made some great art for the rest of us, so I'm not mad about it.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. We got 2 more songs left, and if you guys
Okay.
are enjoying this in the comments, let us know. And you can also enter to win that Willie Watson t-shirt. Just hit share. Willie, I'll let you hit for song number 3, my friend.
Cool. Let's grab this here guitar. Right, I played banjo last time, right?
You
Pick up
did.
the guitar this time. Okay. Gotta make sure you give everybody a banjo song.
Of course. Now, how long have you been in Los Angeles?
Just about 15 years. I don't know. I think more now. I lost track of time after about 12 or 13 years. I kind of
You're just there. Yeah.
I couldn't remember how long. All right. That seems to be one of everybody's favorite. It's wait a little while, hangman. Wait a little while and see. Think I see my father coming way across the sea. Father, did you bring me silver? Father, did you bring some gold? What did you bring me, dear father, to keep me from the gallows pole? I didn't bring no silver, I didn't bring no gold. I come to see you hanging from the gallows pole. So wait a little while, hangman, wait a little while and see. I think I see my mother coming way across the sea. Oh, mother, did you bring me silver? Mother, did you bring some gold? Did you come to see me hanging from the gallows pole? Oh, I didn't bring no silver, I didn't bring no gold. Come to see you swinging from the gallows pole. Yes, you're swinging. Yes, from the gallows pole. Yes, you're swinging. Yes, from the gallows pole. Slack up your rope, hangman. Slack it for a while. I think I see my own true lover riding many miles. Oh, lover, did you bring me silver? Lover, did you bring some gold? Did you come to see me hanging from the gallows pole? Oh, yes, I brought you silver. I brought a little gold. Brought a little of everything to keep you from the gallows pole. Yes, I brought it. Yes, keep you from the gallows pole. Yes, I brought it. Yes, keep you from the gallows pole.
Damn good. we got Willie Watson just absolutely killing it tonight, man. Wonderful job, and you're giving a little bit for everybody. We did have a request or a question asking if the cat would make an appearance.
Oh, Arrow, my cat, she really hates it when I sing and play. She sits on the couch. If I get my guitar out, she starts making this strange, like, growly, kind of snorty sound.
Right.
And it's like a meow, but it's a real gravelly little meow. And she keeps doing it. She'll do it for like 5 minutes while I'm playing. And then finally she's had enough and she runs into I have a little like broom closet over there at the top of the stairs. And she runs into the closet and climbs up into one of the shelves and she'll stay in there for like 2 hours.
Till it's all done. I'm trying to think of this too. This is one of my favorite parts. You have all these adults and people that have attended shows and love your music and have loved your career. How does your daughter respond to your career?
She doesn't care at all.
That was what I was looking for. Yeah, that's kind of my
she
favorite.
Doesn't care. She's to her, I'm her dad. There's been times when we're out and Wagon Wheel comes on somewhere, and I'm like, "Oh, Everly, that's my song." She's like, "Great, Dad." Doesn't care. Doesn't care at all. She's musical. She's got an amazing ear. She really does. She can hear a singer and immediately take in all the notes that singer has sung and sing it back to you like right away. And it's pretty impressive. That was even when she was like 2 years old. When she was 2 years old, she could sing all those weird notes to that song from Cinderella, "A Dream is a Wish That Your Heart Makes."
Wow.
And she'd be, "A dream is a wish your heart makes when you're fast asleep." And she'd sing all those, like
nice.
that seventh note in there and everything. And it was really impressive. So she's got a great musical ear. But yeah, she's not really no interest in pursuing music right now. She's excited she's going to be in 6th grade next year, so she's going to move schools. And they have a theater drama program at her new school. So she's excited about that.
That's incredible. I was going to say, I think I could sing along to "We Built This City"
Cool.
by Starship when I was that age, and then maybe the Jeffersons theme song, but that's about it. So
nice, yeah.
She's done well for herself. We've got one more song to go, and everybody is really enjoying your appearance so much. So I honestly just wanted to say thank you so much. It's been a
Yeah,
pleasure chatting with you, man.
yeah,
It,
Chris. Thanks so much for having me on.
for sure. Now, going into, I'm seeing this stuff. Maybe some bookings in July. The festival folks are kind of grumbling about that. Do you want to? How are you going to handle touring in the next 6 months?
Um, and in the next 6 months, I don't think there's going to be touring in the next six
Yeah.
months. Is that what they're saying?
I heard a little birdie say July is whenever the you follow the money, right? You follow the
Okay.
vampires.
Yeah.
You say,
I don't know. Yeah, I haven't talked to my manager for a while. We've just been kind of like I'm just doing my thing, you
right?
know.
Yeah.
And so what? So I don't know. We have shows on the books. We have a tour planned, but it's for like October 2021.
That's the thing. Like I mentioned the Kranzberg Arts Foundation. I've partnered up with them, and I'm helping out with that Music at the Intersection, which is in September of 2021. They're an organization here that they take the safety stuff uber serious. They've got backing.
Hmm.
It's a community kind of thing. So it's going off if it has to be 3% capacity with a bunch of virtual, no matter what. But
Yeah.
but we're counting on there being some capacity in the fall of 2021.
Yeah, and if we get back to the point where we can do these social distance shows, like I had done a few of those. I one in LA here,
Mm-hmm.
and there was 15 people. They charged a really high ticket price, and let 15 people in.
That
That was
did
for
it have
Jam
its?
in the Van.
Oh yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
Okay, you can watch that on
yeah,
YouTube. Yeah.
yeah. And then I did go to Nashville and do an Old Crow reunion show at the Ryman, and the Ryman holds like I think about 2,500 people,
Yeah.
and they let 300 in. Initially, they were only going to let 150, but then on like they opened up like an extra 150 tickets like day of show.
Sure.
Um, you know, so I mean, I'd be up for. I'll do that as soon as it's safe and possible. But with the surge in cases and everything right now, I mean that I had a few social distance shows in Northern California um, last month, and then numbers started just going way up. So we all just said no, we're
Right.
not going to do this, and we didn't want to. It's we have to be responsible about that as the people, organizing these shows and putting on these shows. And it's like, in some of these cases, there was venues where we could have continued, but we just didn't think that it was going to be the right or responsible thing to do. You know, I don't want to
No.
be the guy bringing people together and then have four or five, a couple of people, say there's just that chance that somebody there is going to spread it to the rest of the people there, and they all take it out on their way. So
Yeah.
um, better safe than sorry.
Yeah. That's a good attitude to have, especially too whenever you're faced with major changes in your life and finances as well. So hopefully, on
Yeah,
the other side of this, people like you were rewarded for that, just because
yeah,
you took some responsibility when you need to. It's a
yeah.
strange thing, and I'm hoping more people than I hope we don't lose a ton of artists to
Yeah,
to this.
me too. And I was just, thinking a lot about this of friends that I have. Look, I've been very fortunate. I have other things I can do to pay my rent. I make clothes, I make jeans, I sew, and that business has really grown in the past year or 2 years. So
Wow.
I'm in my garage at my sewing machine all day, filling orders for people that are buying jeans from me.
Thanks for.
Um,
Where do people find that? I mean, or do you want? Are you
Willie
just home?
Watson Manufacturing Company, Willie Watson MFG. The Instagram is Willie Watson MFG. The website is williewatsonmfgco.com.
Perfect.
But that's manufacturing company.
Hmm.
All handmade by me and Mindy, who also works with me. And so it's the two of us down there stitching things together. The highest of quality and the most immaculate stitching you could imagine, which makes it very expensive. So, check it out. You might want some
I
jeans.
will. I'll look on the other
Uh,
side of that. Yeah,
yeah,
what a unique thing, man. Is that something that you've done for a long time, or did you get into it?
yeah, yeah. I've been sewing and making clothing for myself really since I was in my early 20s. I'm really skinny, so I found myself wanting to look a certain way by the time I was like 22, 23. And at the time in the early 2000s, they didn't make clothes like I wanted them to look. So I ended up
Took
finding my
control.
way to just making them myself. And so over like 20 years, I got pretty good at it. And then people kept bugging me. They're like, not bugging me, but people for years would say, well, you know, where'd you get that shirt? And I'd say, I made it. And they'd be really impressed and tell me I should sell them. And I would say, no, I'm not going to do that.
Right.
Um, you know, I'm not going to get involved with that business. It's just a chambray shirt. You can get a chambray shirt anywhere. You can go to the Gap and get a chambray shirt. Why anyone would want to buy one that cost $400 from me because I made it by hand, that's no one's going to buy that shirt, but people actually do want to buy that shirt. Um, so yeah, I just eventually started doing it, and it was just out of fun, you know, and it kind of took off. I don't regret it, but I didn't realize what I was getting myself into. But anyway, like, look, I'm very fortunate to be able to have that, and it is the business that's paying my bills right now. It's paying my rent. Sure, Wagon Wheel has sold many millions of copies, and it's a platinum record, but that doesn't mean that I have millions of dollars.
Right.
And so most musicians of my stature on my level, we make our money. We don't make our money from record sales. Not really. I mean, I do get royalty checks from the old Crow days that come in a couple times a year, and they're helpful. They mostly just pay for taxes.
Oh boy.
Um,
Yeah.
so, you know, we make our money from touring, and yeah, you know, none of us are touring right now. I've been thinking a lot about some of my musical friends that, you know, I do sell some records, but there's people that sell a lot less than me, you know, and I don't know what they're doing,
Right.
you know, and so like things like this for me to be able to come on and do this is a big help, and it's a big help for like just like promotion and getting, you know, I'm sure there's people here that have never heard of me that might go and like, I don't know, download something on iTunes. It would be better if you just ordered a record,
I
'cause
think
then yeah.
I think no, it's important that you say that, and I think that I don't know. Maybe I'm spoiled because we have a lot of cool people that tune in, and it's the type of artist that you bring on where you have people that like they're tuning in because they love it or they've like someone that's similar to them. But no, my point would be is even the people that would go see a show at I'm trying to in St. If you're in St. Louis, Off Broadway is a place that does great shows. Old
Yeah.
Rock House, even the Pageant, which is 2,000 person theater itself. Um, if you're gonna go to these shows, you don't always. Maybe a year ago you weren't thinking like I do need to go buy that record or like yeah I'll just Spotify. I think if we are to take any kind of a positive pluck out of things, like I'm not saying this overtakes the negative of the last year or 8 months or whatever. I think people are more aware of how easily they can support by clicking buttons or spending your $10 on an album or even a Bandcamp thing or a T-shirt. But I think that has revealed a lot to where you're saying like, hey, this touring's gone and touring is its own nasty animal in itself, I'm sure. So
Yeah.
people, if you can purchase a track, if you can do those little things, it helps people like Willie and all the guests that come on here. And I hope that's one of the positive things that comes out of this that we did learn in regards to this little world we're talking about.
Yeah, and it is important to support the musicians that you like because it is our livelihood. And you know, look, the internet has just completely destroyed the music business. It's ruined it. And sure, like there's the argument that like more people you can hear more music because of the internet, and you can be exposed to more things, which is true. And sure, that's fine. But you know, when I first started playing music, no kind of media, no kind of streaming platform existed, and people still bought records. And you know, like I do pretty well. And as far as like I have a pretty broad fan base. There's a
Right.
lot of people out there that like my music. And you know, if things used to be the way they were in 1999
Ooh,
or all through the 90s and even in the very early 2000s, when if you liked somebody, you went to the record store and bought their record. Like
right.
that's a huge difference than watching it on YouTube.
Yeah.
You know, the pay difference, the amount of money that a musician makes compared to when you watch a paid advertised YouTube track
It,
versus going to the record store or ordering the physical copy of that record is massive,
right.
is massive. And like, I'd be doing pretty well if people like bought physical records. It'd pay my bills, but it's just not the case.
I don't know if you were aware of this, but CDs made it up to like $25 per CD.
Oh
At
yeah,
Best Buy. Like I'll never forget. That was where it all kind of fell out. It was like
yeah,
when they hit that $25 for like one CD, you're like, ooh, that's. But people were living nice off
and
that, man. It's
yep,
that's a big
yep.
change.
But then
compared.
Napster, it's like, oh, I can just listen to it for free on Napster. It's gonna
Yeah.
sound like shit, but I'm gonna go listen to it anyway.
And I'll get the gist of it right of this person's
Yeah.
last like 6 years of writing that song. I am curious before you get to your last song. Something that's fun because I have a lot of friends that they play wineries, they'll play bars and things like that. Is it a weird feeling? And you have to be aware of this. And maybe you blame Darius Rucker, maybe you blame you guys. But I grew up in a rural area. I've lived in St. Louis for a while now, but I grew up in an area where you'd go back and it was you guys doing that song that would kind of dominate the hometown bar, and then it had its own little play, and then you have the Darius Rucker cover of it kind of blow things up. Is it weird that you guys are like kind of a generation's play Freebird? Like singer-songwriters throughout the world have been screamed at play Wagon Wheel
Yeah.
more. It's the new play some Skinner or play free, whatever it is. Is there that kind of a connection to it? Because like you experienced so much success with that. And I want to say whenever you all kind of found your way into those pockets and it was yours, like it was way different than when it was. And I'm not shading Darius Rucker. I've talked to him before. He's a super nice guy. But it opened up the floodgates to the people that would scream at a dude playing a bar gig to like play Wagon Wheel. Like that's a thing I wanted to ask you about. I was like, that's a thing for people that they deal with. It's so funny to me.
Um, I mean, what more could I ask for?
Right?
It's like we made our mark. Here we are, we're this band, and like we made a really significant mark on the world of music forever.
Yeah.
And like, I'm nothing but grateful about that. And I think it's kind of funny that you walk into a bar and it's like, there's bars in Nashville where the band gets fined if they play Wagon Wheel. There's like signs that say no Wagon Wheel.
But it's funny though. It's funny because
It's
it got
funny.
beat down because you can't argue like it's arguably like you were saying a quality song's a quality song. It's a great
Yeah.
song. It's not like I don't know, pick a band, a Three Doors Down jammer that somebody's going to be mean about, but it's like it has to be unique to have experienced that level of just zeitgeist, interwoven pop culture, everything. Like what a strange thing, but good attitude to have about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, not that I think I don't want to say it's like too bad or it's like a shame that people have sort of turned against it. And I get it, like anything that gets like overplayed. But maybe it'll come back around. There's a lot of people that just like hate it. But let's not forget that those same people that hate it were like its first biggest fans.
Thank you.
So,
Yes.
Don't
forget that part. Oh
Yeah.
man. Well, what's on the docket for number 4?
All right, well, I'll play the other hit here. Get my other good harmonica.
Well, while Willie sets up, I'll remind everybody too. We'll call out the winners. I'll tag you guys after the show in the comments. We'll pick those out. We'll mail out one of Willie's T-shirts as well as the Jack Daniels prize pack from our man E.T. And thanks, guys. You got E.T. over his subscriber mark. We got Rock Tales, the podcast, launching. He's talked to some great guests, some very famous rock photographers, former drummer for Guns N' Roses. We'll have a lot of fun on Rock Tales, and we're excited to be working with E.T. on that. So if you search it out on YouTube, just look for Rock Tales, the podcast. And I also dropped a comment with the link to the YouTube channel. So let's get to Willie's last song. Let's see what he's got on deck for us. Willie, again, thank you so much for joining, man. I'll let you take it from here.
Thanks, Chris. It's my pleasure. And I'll sing you the song from the movie Ballad of Buster Scruggs. It's called When a Cowboy Trades His Spurs for Wings. Let me tell you, buddy, a faster gun coming over yonder, and tomorrow comes. Let me tell you, buddy, and it won't be long till you find yourself singing your last cowboy song. Yippee-ki-yay, when the roundup ends. Yippee-ki-yay, and the campfire dim. Yippee-ki-yay, he shouts and he sings when a cowboy trades his spurs for wings. When they wrap my body in the bindling sheet, and they take my 6-irons, all the boots from my feet, unsaddle my pony, she'll be itching to roam, and I'll be halfway to heaven under horsepower of my own. Yippee-ki-yay, when the roundup ends. Yippee-ki-yay, and the campfire dim. Yippee-ki-yay, he shouts and he sings when a cowboy trades his spurs for wings. Yippee-ki-yay, I'm glory bound. No more jingle jangle, I'll lay my guns down. Yippee-ki-yay, he shouts and he sings when a cowboy trades his spurs for wings.
Willie Watson closing out Drinks with the Band. A huge thank you to everybody for tuning in. Willie, my friend, I can't thank you enough. This has been an absolute delight, sir.
Thanks, Chris. It was a good time. Maybe we could do it again sometime.
Oh, I'd love to. We'll have to, and we'll have to get you to come through St. Louis when things clear up as well. I'd love that.
Cool. Sounds
Absolutely.
good.
Guys, we'll say good night for now. Next week, tune in if you're a fan of Future Birds. They've got one of my favorite albums of the year. Our guy, Hayes Carl, he's coming on. Katie Tupin and Ron Gallo. If you look all them up, they're all very, very talented musicians. We're doing a holiday special, and we'll have an announcement on a charitable benefactor for that show to show some love for the holidays. So we do this each and every week. Other great guests coming up. We've got Ben Nichols from Lucero down the hatch. Abraham Alexander, Rihanna J has just jumped on. I want to say, man, check out the lineups. We've got them all here on Facebook. Tell your friends about it. Big thanks to Jack Daniels, and thanks all of you for tuning in. We'll get those prizes taken care of. Shout out to Willie and the rest of you. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next week.